You know, it's places like this that really make you appreciate dependability. So he and I started talking about the bike, and he asked me what category I would put it in, and I chuckled. I was joking. I said, well, the motorcycle category. It's got 2 wheels and 1 engine. But I see where he was going with that. And, you know, I told him these days it's hard to tell. I said, you know, I kind of look at the tires. If it's got slicks, it's a street bike. If it's got knobbies, it's a dirt bike, a dual sport, or somewhere in the middle. And then we were talking about down the road, and I said, well, the bike's been in production since 2017, basically unchanged, cheap to operate, and it's a fuel sipper. So I would think there would be high demand for it in the future. Yep, it's a Versys. Yep, it's a Versys. I just gotta say, I love frozen sand. Hey, greetings from Southwest Colorado. Spinwater here, out on this lovely November day. And actually I was out running some rounds through my 1911. I was changing magazines. I want to make sure it's feeding properly. And that she is. So I thought I would take a break and talk about some of the rider modes that come with my Versys 300X. Alright, so up here we have odometer, 10,000 miles, trip A, trip B, that's it. On here I have range, overall fuel miles, average fuel miles, 66.3, that's it. Shit, I guess I don't have any rider modes on this bike. Damn, still fun. Yep, it's a Versys. Talk a little bit about my Versys 300X and my navigation system on it. So it's this map and then a compass. I have another map here too, but yeah, and I can change maps. It works great. Yep, it's a Versys in the land of red dirt. You know, I'm thinking here with all these screens, TFT, GPS, phone mount, if I could just consolidate and just zip tie this laptop to my bike, I would have everything in one shot right in front of me. I'd never even have to look up. I could just look at the screen all the time. Good afternoon and greetings from southeast Utah. I started my day in southwest Colorado, as that's where I live. So most of my riding is done bouncing back and forth between the San Juan Mountains or the Rockies of Colorado or the high Colorado Plateau, high deserts here in Utah. I'm not one to usually pull over and start filming in the middle of nowhere and talking to myself. Actually, this feels really weird. But I'm about to hit 10,000 miles on my Versys 300X. And when I was in the market, a lot of people posted videos and it really helped me. So I thought I'd try to pay it forward and do a short video on this bike. I'm definitely not here to put this bike in a category. And I'm definitely not here to tell you what you should or shouldn't ride. You know, too many variables I've learned. Where you ride, how you ride, you know, what you ride. You know, are you in Vermont? Are you in Texas? Are you in Utah? Are you 5'1", 6'1", you know, just way too many variables. So this bike, I bought it because number one, it was the only thing I could afford. I was looking for a bike that I could ride on-road and off-road. And the other thing I was concerned about is it needed to be lightweight so I could self-recover. Like a lot of us in our mid-50s, I do a lot of solo riding. So probably because we're tired of listening to everybody's bullshit. So I need to be able to pick the bike up myself and not worry about getting in a pickle with this thing. It is unbadged. You'll see the front end's kind of a one-off here. I got hit by a deer a year and a half ago. Had to rebuild the whole front cowling. So it was cheaper to mix and match years when I put it back together. And I also bobbed the front fender beak when I put it back together. So yeah, I mean, 400 pounds, roughly 40 horsepower, equally comfortable on and off the road, 4.5 gallon fuel tank. I constantly get between 60 and 70 miles to the gallon. And the power plant, I feel, is pretty well proven, that little Ninja 300. I couldn't really find anything derogatory online about longevity or high revs, you know. It's funny, when you're on the road, you know, you're like, God, I wish I had more horsepower. When I'm off the road, I wish I had more travel. I think the only thing I never asked for is more weight. So, upgrades, let me see. Upgrades. I tried to only go by necessity and not drink the Kool-Aid on this thing. So first thing I did was get some protection on it. So I went with obviously the bark busters, protect those levers, and then I went with GV bodyguards right there, and I have an SRC out of Oregon skid plate on there. The guards paid for themselves after about the second drop. The cowlings are super expensive to replace. They don't make plastic like they used to. I did find foldable shift lever, which I was pretty excited about. Creature comforts, some pads on the tank, kind of see there. Dual USB charger, compass, and I treated myself to some heated grips. And there I do have 7/8 bar risers. The world of tires. Right now these are Shinko 805 on the rear. Super happy with these guys. And an 804 in the front there. I was running an 804 front and a 705 back, and I have no complaints against that 705. That's a great tire. But I have to admit, I've grown accustomed to really liking the extra bite in this 805. When I first got the bike, I went about 4 months on the stock tires, and it was really good for me to get a baseline of what I couldn't get away with on this motorcycle. So let me see. You know, the general impression of this bike is I'm totally happy with it. If not, I just sell it. It's equally as comfortable on as off the road. On the road, super well planted, 65 to 85 miles an hour. Off the road, it does really good too. This is with my skill set, mind you. It's done everything I've asked it to do. You're defined by the travel and the clearance. So, you know, you got 5 inches travel front and back, and I think about 7 inches of ground clearance. So that really dictates what you can and can't get into. I found off-road, I'm pretty good to go on anything I want to tackle. I just can't mob it. I have to be more methodical in the line I pick, if that makes sense. I don't want any really big, deep, ruddy surprises. The engine, yeah, she revs high. You will live between 7 and 10,000 RPM. You just kind of got to get used to it. I wrote it off as that's Kawasaki's problem, and I just got the warranty. I will say, if I stall out going up a technical hill, I really got to wind it up to get it in that power band of 7 to 10. So that seems weird when I'm trying to get it going again. It's geared really low, and I don't mind that. I think it helps me compensate for the high rev power band. So I will flog it or tractor it in 2nd, 3rd, 4th gear all day long. Low gear, yeah, it's pretty funny. I'm usually in 4th gear before I get through the intersection. So yeah, you just kind of get used to it. In hindsight, I think I wouldn't have changed anything on my path with this bike. I would have treated myself to bar risers the second day I bought it, because it's made standing up so much comfortable, and I wish I'd have discovered heated grips much sooner. So yeah, I mean, that's it. I guess any machine that can get you out to a view like this is probably worth it. So yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got. ADV riders, be respectful to each other. Not turn this sport into some snobby profession like fly fishing or road biking. Take care of each other. Have a great season. Thanks. Yep, it's a Versys.